You are not tired because you work too much. You are tired because your mind never rests. Sit with that for a moment. In 2026, the world will not slow down for you. It will not wait until you feel ready, healed, confident, or understood. The noise will grow sharper. The systems will grow smarter. The screens will grow closer to your face, closer to your thoughts, closer to your sense of self. And most people, quietly without drama, will disappear into that noise. They will still breathe, they will still move, but they will no longer decide. You feel it already, don't you? That low-level pressure, the constant hum beneath your thoughts, the sense that you are always behind, always reacting, always absorbing, rarely choosing. You wake up tired before the day begins. You consume before you create. You explain yourself before you act. You wait for permission from people who do not even know your name. And yet you still tell yourself you are free. This is the uncomfortable truth no one likes to sit with. Most suffering today is not caused by hardship. It is caused by weakness disguised as comfort. The ancient world feared famine, invasion, plague. The modern world fears silence. Silence exposes what distraction hides. In silence, you notice how undisciplined your attention has become. How dependent your sense of worth is on response, validation, reassurance. How easily your mood bends to algorithms, opinions, and imagined judgments. You notice how often you postpone your life until conditions feel safer, easier, more certain. They never will. The future does not belong to the loud, the frantic, or the endlessly stimulated. It belongs to the composed, to those who can sit inside uncertainty without panicking, to those who can feel discomfort without immediately anesthetizing it, to those who can act without applause. This is why Stoicism matters now. Not as an aesthetic, not as quotes on a screen, not as another identity to wear, but as a method of reconstruction, not self-improvement, self-recreation. Because who you are right now was shaped by a world designed to distract you, soften you, and keep you manageable. If you do not consciously recreate yourself, you will remain a byproduct of systems that profit from your indecision. This is not a threat, it is a diagnosis. And it comes with responsibility. You do not need more information. You need command. The Stoics understood something modern humans avoid. Life is not meant to feel good all the time. It is meant to be met well. They would look at 2026 and see a paradox, unprecedented comfort paired with unprecedented fragility, a species protected from hardship, yet overwhelmed by meaninglessness. People surrounded by tools yet unable to govern themselves, and they would not be surprised. Because when external struggle disappears, internal discipline becomes the battleground. You are not overwhelmed because life is too heavy. You are overwhelmed because you carry everything except what matters. Attention scattered, values diluted, energy spent defending an image instead of building a character. This speech is not here to inspire you. Inspiration fades. It is here to confront you with a harder, quieter question. Are you governed by circumstance? Or by principle? If you listen carefully, without rushing, without looking for comfort, something may shift. Not emotionally, structurally, the way stone shifts under pressure, not noise. And once that shift begins, there is no returning to unconscious living. At the center of Stoic thought is a simple, unforgiving distinction. There is what you control, and there is what you do not. Most people nod at this idea and continue living as if it were false. They attempt to control opinions, outcomes, timing, recognition, fairness, and permanence. And when reality resists, as it always does, they call it anxiety, burnout, or fate. The Stoics called it error. Not moral failure, perceptual failure. To them, suffering did not come from events. It came from judgments about events. From the refusal to accept the limits of control and the unwillingness to master what remains. In 2026, this distinction becomes sharper, not softer. You will not control the speed of technological change. You will not control economic instability. You will not control how others interpret your words, your work, or your silence, but you will always control your response, your discipline, your attention, your character under pressure. And character to a Stoic is not a personality trait. It is a practiced stance toward reality. The ancient Stoics would not ask, "How do I feel about this?" They would ask, "What does this demand of my reason?" Emotion was not an enemy, but it was never the commander. Modern psychology now circles this truth from another angle. Emotional regulation, cognitive reframing, delayed gratification, resilience under stress, different language, same mountain. The Stoic does not suppress emotion. He refuses to be ruled by it. In an age where feelings are treated as facts and discomfort as injustice, this becomes radical. The Stoic understands that the mind must be trained the way the body is trained, through resistance, through repetition, through voluntary exposure to difficulty, not because suffering is noble, but because untrained minds collapse when tested. To recreate yourself like a Stoic is not to become cold or detached, it is to become internally ordered. And order is power. Look closely at modern failure and you will see a pattern. People do not break because life is unbearable. They break because they expect it to be easy. Comfort has taught them that inconvenience is a problem instead of a condition, that boredom is a crisis instead of a signal, that discomfort means something is wrong instead of something is working. The Stoic sees discomfort differently. Discomfort is information. It reveals where you are attached, where you are entitled, where your identity depends on external stability, where your discipline is theoretical instead of embodied. When your phone battery dies and irritation rises, notice it. When your effort goes unseen and resentment appears, notice it. When loneliness stretches longer than expected and you rush to fill it, notice it. These moments are not flaws in life, they are mirrors. Most people smash the mirror. They distract, they scroll, they consume, they explain themselves, they blame systems, parents, timing, trauma. They build narratives where they are always reacting, never responsible. Stoicism removes the narrative. It says, here is what is happening, here is what is required. Act accordingly. No drama, no victimhood, no fantasy. This is why Stoicism feels heavy to those addicted to stimulation. It asks for presence. It asks for stillness. It asks you to sit with yourself without escape. And that is terrifying to a person who has never learned to command their own mind. The Stoic does not chase motivation. Motivation is weather. He builds discipline. Discipline is climate. He understands that waiting to feel ready is another form of avoidance. That clarity comes after action, not before. Hat confidence is the residue of kept promises to oneself. Every time you act against your better judgment, you fracture trust with yourself. Every time you delay what you know must be done, you reinforce weakness. This is not self-hatred, it is self-honesty. The Stoic mind is not harsh, it is precise. It does not say, I am broken. It says, I am undisciplined here. It does not say, life is unfair. It says, I expected fairness where none was promised. Expectation is the hidden source of most suffering. You expect people to be consistent, you expect effort to be rewarded, you expect progress to be linear, you expect clarity before commitment. Reality offers none of this. The Stoic trains himself to meet reality as it is, not as he wishes it to be, and in doing so he becomes difficult to destabilize, because chaos loses its power when it is no longer resisted. This is the quiet strength modern people misunderstand. They confuse acceptance with passivity. In truth, acceptance is what allows precise action. When you stop arguing with reality, you conserve energy. When you conserve energy, you can direct it. When you direct it, you become effective. Stoicism is not about withdrawing from the world. It is about engaging without being consumed. The Stoic still works, loves, builds, competes, but he does so without tying his worth to outcomes he cannot control. His effort is clean. His failure is instructive. His success is temporary and therefore not intoxicating. This makes him dangerous in a world that feeds on emotional volatility. He cannot be easily provoked. He cannot be easily manipulated. He cannot be easily shattered, because his center is internal, and internal centers are built slowly, through restraint when indulgence is available, through silence when reaction is tempting, through consistency when excitement fades. Most people want intensity. The Stoic chooses endurance. Intensity burns fast. Endurance reshapes identity. You recreate yourself not by grand gestures, but by small repeated acts of governance. Choosing reason over impulse. Choosing effort over comfort. Choosing principle over approval. These choices are invisible to others, which is why they work. From a distance, humanity in 2026 looks overstimulated and underdeveloped. Vast networks of connection paired with profound isolation. Endless expression paired with little substance. Constant outrage paired with minimal responsibility. The Stoic watches this without contempt. He understands that most people are not weak by nature. They are weak by conditioning, raised in environments that reward reaction, speed, and surface-level engagement, punished for depth, patience, and restraint. Social platforms teach the mind to seek immediate feedback, to measure worth in response, to perform rather than to become. The Stoic refuses this training. He does not ask, "How will this be received?" He asks, "Is this aligned?" He understands that being misunderstood is not a crisis, that being unseen is not a verdict, that loneliness, while uncomfortable, is often the cost of independence. In an age where everyone is watching everyone else, the Stoic cultivates the ability to be alone without collapsing inward. He becomes his own witness. Digital addiction is not about screens. It is about avoidance. Avoidance of effort. Avoidance of uncertainty. Avoidance of one's own thoughts. The Stoic does not moralize this. He observes it. And then he acts differently. He shortens the distance between intention and action. He limits exposure to what agitates without enriching. He protects his attention as if it were a finite resource, because it is. While others announce their values, he practices them. While others wait to feel confident, he moves while uncertain. While others collapse under judgment, he remembers that opinions are external. Whether. This is not superiority, it is clarity. And clarity, once earned, changes how you move through the world. You speak less, you explain less, you need less reassurance. Not because you no longer care, but because you no longer outsource your stability. From above, the Stoic sees a species forgetting how to suffer well. And he knows that suffering poorly is what destroys people, not pain itself. So he trains, quietly, daily, without announcement. He prepares not for a specific catastrophe, but for instability itself. He becomes adaptable by becoming internally ordered. He becomes calm not because life is calm, but because his judgments are measured. And when pressure comes, as it always does, it finds less to grab onto, because the Stoic has already loosened his attachment to illusion, to permanence, to validation, to ease. He stands inside the moment, fully aware that it will pass, fully responsible for how he meets it. And in that awareness, something rare begins to form. Not happiness, not success, but a kind of unshakable composure, the kind that does not announce itself, the kind that does not seek recognition, the kind that remains, even when no one is watching, even when nothing is certain, even when the noise grows louder and the future presses closer, and the only thing left to govern is the space between impulse and action, where character is either formed or surrendered. If you have listened this far, something in you already understands what cannot be unlearned, that this is not about becoming impressive, not about appearing disciplined, intelligent, or enlightened, not about wearing Stoicism as a mask in a chaotic age. It is about becoming governed, because the truth is simple, and it does not care whether it comforts you. If you do not rule yourself, something else will. Your emotions will, your fears will, other people's expectations will. Systems designed without your well-being in mind will. Stoicism is not an escape from the modern world. It is armor forged specifically for it. The Stoic does not ask for a quieter world. He ohms quieter within it. He does not demand certainty. He learns to act without it. He does not wait for meaning to arrive. He creates meaning through conduct. In 2026, strength will not look like dominance. It will look like restraint. It will look like someone who can pause before reacting. Someone who can endure boredom without reaching for distraction. Someone who can feel discomfort without collapsing into narrative. This kind of person will seem invisible at first, and then indispensable. Because while others fracture under pressure, he holds. While others outsource responsibility, he assumes it. While others confuse expression with truth, he aligns action with principle. There is no finish line here, no moment where you are done. Stoicism is not a destination. It is a stance you choose again and again, especially when it is inconvenient. You will fail at it, often. And that failure is not evidence of hypocrisy, it is the training ground itself. What matters is not perfection, but returning to reason, returning to discipline, returning to the quiet, understanding that your life is shaped less by what happens to you than by how you meet it. You do not need to announce this path. You do not need to convert anyone. You do not need approval. Let your calm be the argument. Let your consistency be the proof. In a world addicted to noise, be deliberate. In a culture that rewards reaction, choose response. In an age that fears discomfort, learn to sit inside it without flinching. This is how you recreate yourself, not all at once, not dramatically, but through steady acts of self-governance that compound over time. And one day, without ceremony, without witnesses, you will notice something subtle and irreversible. The world has not become easier, but it no longer owns you. And from that point on, whatever comes, loss, change, pressure, uncertainty, will meet a mind that is no longer asking to be spared, only asking what is required, and answering accordingly,